Last time I checked my bank balance, it was about $5.
I could die in a car accident tomorrow, and what would retirement matter to me then?
I'm known as being coupon Carrie by a bunch of friends.
From school to parents, I don't think I've really ever received financial advice. How much do you have towards retirement? I don't think I have anything towards retirement, to be honest. I'd never really thought about retirement. Even the job I'm currently in, I know it offers 401k, everything like that, but since I'm young, I don't think they're really pushing that towards me right now, which I don't really know why, because I'm working 40 to 45 hours a week.
Nothing. I'm of a generation and demographic where retirement is something you can't really afford to think about, like in every sense of the word. There is really nothing to spare because there's always going to be some emergency or something that's going to deplete your savings or drastically reduce them. As far as I'm aware, I don't have any options via my workplace to set aside for retirement. It does scare me that I don't have a resolution currently for what will happen as I age and get towards retirement. I don't really see the benefit in being terrified of something that may never happen. Like, I could die in a car accident tomorrow, and what would retirement matter to me then? I know that it's something I'm going to have to deal with potentially at some point, but I don't see the benefit to my everyday life in living with such anxiety and fear over something that's not entirely my fault.
I unfortunately do not right now. If I get a full-time job again, possibly a Roth IRA or a 403b, depending on if I work in nonprofit again. I can't imagine not working in some capacity, certainly on a part-time scale. But it would be really nice to retire at 60, as opposed to what a lot of politicians are pushing for, which is 70, which is insane.
At the moment, nothing. However, I do have an IRA account set up at the moment that I'm expecting to get my divorce settlement put into, which will be about $200,000.
How much do you have in your savings account? I'd say there's about $25 in that currently. I'm not really that comfortable with keeping large amounts of money in a bank or institution. I'm slightly paranoid, especially with things that like happened in recent events with the hurricanes and everything, and people not being able to access their money because it was all digital and they didn't have anything physically, so they couldn't get anything they needed. I feel safer having more of my money outside of the bank in case something were to happen, like something went down, the systems went down.
A little over $6,000 in a traditional IRA account, and then I have $3,000 in a CD that will mature.
Last time I checked my bank balance, it was about $5. I have mainly my checking account, which is the one I use the most often. And honestly, I do not think I have ever used my savings account.
Savings has around $1,700, but that's only because I put away things for bills into my savings, so it's not sitting in my checkings. Because if it's sitting in my checkings, I will spend it. I will take all my money out in cash, and I will keep it until that bill. I'm not a bank person. I'm not too fond of banks, but obviously nowadays to pay bills, you need a bank.
Do you have a budget? I do not use spreadsheets or a notebook or apps. I'm known as being coupon Carrie by a bunch of friends. If I'm going somewhere, most of the time I have a coupon. That's how I'm able to afford a lot of my life without having to cook up a big meal, especially if I have a foster kiddo over.
I can't walk around without a budget nowadays. I walk around this world knowing that I have to save a certain amount a day. I have to make a certain amount a day so that I can at least survive with food, shelter, and water. I actually have a notebook. It's not a budget book, but it's just a regular notebook and a whiteboard in my house. And one has my budget and then the other has my bills on them. So paying bills to me is usually every month sitting down with my notebook, whiteboard, and stack of cash, counting out making sure that I have enough for all the bills that are on said whiteboard.
No, I do not have a formal budget. I try to be very careful with what I spend. If it's something that's an absolute necessity, yes. If it's groceries, yes. Beyond that, I kind of try to be strict about what I spend my money on. It's got to be something really worthwhile.
Yes, I do. I'm old school, pen and paper. I write out all of my bills and overhead for the month, everything that needs paid. Like, I calculate exactly how much that is. I take my finances, mine and my husband's, what we get paid weekly, what we make every month, and I just deduct from there and figure out what exactly needs to come out of every paycheck to cover all of these bills for the next month. And then that's how I figure it out. I figure out everything from like what we're generally spending on a month for our food budget to what all of the bills that we're paying, the things we're paying.
What is the best piece of financial advice you were given? Keep track of your bank account. I remember bouncing checks for just stupid stuff when I first met my ex-husband, and I really had to learn to tighten things down, and I had to learn to not have him keep bailing me out of things. And honestly, it was a huge help. I can't remember the last time I bounced a check, and it's one of those things that I avoid like the plague now.
From school to parents, I don't think I've really ever received financial advice, to be honest. I wish I would receive financial advice from people close to me, because that would definitely guide me probably in good directions. I don't want to say the right direction, because really what is the right direction? I would love to invest in stocks. Nobody is capable of actually sitting down to teach me, though. It's just nobody would love to sit down and teach you without buying a plan or something like that. So it's different nowadays. I don't know why the stock world is like that, but I would love to learn about that stuff.
I guess to just invest in yourself, because you're really all you have. So if you are able to spend money on yourself, whether it's your physical or mental well-being, because you're the one that's going to have to carry yourself through life. If you can afford to do so, put some finances towards the improvement of your own life. If you need to move into a bigger place and you can afford to do so, then do that. If you need a new car because yours is a piece of crap and you have to have a car to get by, then get a car.
No one's ever given me financial advice, ever, really. My friend said that she wished that she saved earlier in life. That's about it. She's a millionaire, so.
Why did you want to come on this show? Show people that there are different stories, there are different outcomes to different people not learning financial advice or financial guidance, but there is that glimmer of hope, just because since I am on the show, there also will be other people on the show that have even better advice that I could take.
I thought it would be pretty cool. I watched YouTube videos and different segments on things. So I was like, cool, I can be a part of something like that. And I understand my finances pretty well, so it should be easy for me to get through this and offer a valid perspective.
So I wanted people to know that there are resources out there available for them in order to save money. When it comes to finances, I think people just don't know that there are more resources out there than they really realize. Save when you can, which is obviously very difficult when you're living paycheck to paycheck. When you can, check in with yourself, see what your goals are. If your goals are to eventually have a couple $1,000s as your safety net, aim for that. There are also free financial advisors. That goes back to do research, look around, see if there's anything that is available for anyone to use.
I came from a household with a single divorced mom, and by the time I moved out and lived with my husband, I really had no financial knowledge. I think that the more we know from more different sources, the better. We can pick little bits of information from a bunch of different places and figure out what works best for us, because everybody's unique and they have their own type of situation. And so I think by participating in this as a small business owner, I think it's just one of many unique perspectives on how we can stop being afraid of money and to better manage our money.